So this is May, June 2023. What we normally do is take everything to the left hand side. Once everything is on the left hand side, then it looks like a normal quadratic. Then we go ahead and factorize the left hand side. And how we factorize the left hand side is we split the middle. In this case, I split it into negative 3x plus 5x so that we have 4 terms, x squared minus 3x plus 5x minus 15. Then I factor out x on the first pair, which gives me x outside and x minus 3 in brackets. And on the second pair, I factor out 5. And in the end, I have x plus 5 multiplied by x minus 3 less than 0. From here, I find my critical values by equating x plus 5 to 0 and x minus 3 to 0. Solving x plus 5 equal to 0, I get x equal to negative 5. And solving x minus 3 equal to 0, I get x equal to 3. These are my critical values. Then I go ahead and sketch a curve. To sketch my curve, I put my critical values on the x-axis, x negative 5 and x 3. And my graph is either a smiley face or a sad face. In this case, it's a smiley face because I'm looking at the coefficient of x squared. It is positive. So that is why it is a smiley face. So I go ahead and sketch my smiley face. Then I look at the inequality. In this case, it's less than 0. Less than 0, it means I'm going down from 0. I'm going below 0. That's less than 0. That means it is the portion of the graph that is below 0. So the portion of the graph that is below 0 is between negative 5 and 3. So x is between negative 5 and 3. So my final answer would be negative 5 less than x less than 3. For November 2022, so we have x squared minus 90 greater than x. And as usual, we take everything to the left hand side. Once everything is on the left hand side, we factorize. And to factorize, we split the middle one and we factor out as necessary. In this case, after we factorize, we would have x plus 9 and x minus 10. In brackets. The next thing after factorization is finding our critical values. So I say x plus 9 equal to 0 and x minus 10 equal to 0. And that gives me x equal to negative 9 and x equal to 10. Those are my critical values. Once I find my critical values, the next thing is to sketch my curve. I look at the coefficient of x squared. It's positive, so it means it's a smiley face. I sketch my smiley face. Then I look at the inequality is greater than 0, which means I'm talking about above 0. Which is above the x-axis. That means it's these arms of the curve. That means my values of x are going to run from negative 9 to the left and from 10 to the right. So writing that as inequality is x is less than negative 9 because numbers to the left of negative 9 are less than negative 9. And x is greater than 10 because numbers to the right of 10 are greater than 10. And for May 2022, we had x squared is less than or equal to 3x. As usual, we take everything to the left-hand side. After everything is on the left-hand side, we factorize the left-hand side. When our factorization is complete, we find our critical values by equating to 0. So x equal to 0 and x minus 3 equal to 0. X equal to 0 is complete like that, then x minus 3 equal to 0 gives us x equal to 3. Once we find our critical values, we go ahead and sketch the curve. We look at the coefficient of x squared. Again, it's positive here, so it's a smiley face. Then we look at our inequality sign. It's less than or equal to 0. Less than 0 means below 0 or below the x-axis, so which means going downwards. So the portion of the curve which is below the x-axis or below 0 is this portion of the curve between 0 and 3. So between 0 and 3, so x is between 0 and 3. And I have to put or equal to because my problem is or equal to in it. For November 2021, we had x squared plus 5x less or equal to negative 4. Again, as usual, we take everything to the left-hand side and then we factorize the left-hand side. After we factorize, we find the critical values by equating to 0. X plus 4 equal to 0. X plus 1 equal to 0. My critical values are x equal to negative 4 and x equal to negative 1. After this, I sketch my curve. I look at the inequality sign. It's less than or equal to 0. Less than is below 0, which is below the x-axis. That is the portion of the graph which is between negative 4 and negative 1. That is the final answer.